Hey guys. So, in this transformative energy, it's like very interesting as we are like shedding right now. I feel like there's a lot of like being in your head because we're in the thick of moving into a new timeline. It kind of feels uncomfortable, let's be honest. And like, Spirit has been bringing me, like this morning, brought me several downloads and wanted me to talk about something that I wasn't expecting. And I think a lot of us are in our heads right now. We're in our heads about all different kinds of things because we aren't able to conceive in our minds what the next thing is going to be. And taking that trust fall has been terrifying. But something that Spirit wants me to talk about is interesting topic. And it has to do with something that I struggled with. And I don't know if this is as an empath or somebody on the ascension and spiritual journey, like needing to go through certain things. Obviously, because I'm sensitive, I went through traumatic things in childhood that could apply to it, which is maybe why even it relates to others and Spirit wants me to talk about it. But there was this thing I went through in my life where I'm very introverted, but like when I do socialize, I express very extrovertedly. So and sometimes I would get really silly. Like that's how I am when I'm like very comfortable and I feel safe in a certain environment around certain people. So like, but even when I do feel like maybe okay with certain people, I need that time to recharge, right? Not uncommon for anyone who's an empath or is a sensitive person. Well, even when I was married or even prior to that, I would be judged for needing my space, judged for being up in my room as a kid and like being there for hours and hours on my own, thriving in my own energy. Like, I guess adults would look at that and see it as unhealthy. And and that like continued into my adulthood. It was really hard for me to keep friends and I didn't really want to because I felt like I enjoyed my own me time more than I did when I was out with friends and I couldn't fully connect. I couldn't fully resonate with what they were experiencing because like I perceived life differently. And I think that's something that we all need to recognize how differently we all perceive life based off not just this lifetime, but previous lifetimes and our own soul blueprint and things that we've went through, generational curses we chose to take on to transmute and things like that. It all plays a role. But it was like people weren't ever respecting my boundaries. They were always trying to make it seem like there was something wrong with me. And for a long time, I had to battle with that mentally until like when I had my big spiritual awakening and through the years, I kept peeling back the layers. I still felt like even when I was married, I would be like with my in-laws and their large family. And it was like constant like birthday parties, activities, always asking us to be certain places to be part of the family. And for me, it was just like too much and I had to set boundaries. And in doing so, I caught a lot of flack, because I wanted to live my life in a certain way and others wanted me to live it the way they thought was appropriate according to their own programming. And what's wrong with me? Like, I'm pushing people away or, I don't let people in. You're too closed off, right? And it's like the whole time I was unconsciously attempting to protect my energy. And every time I would go against how I wanted to actually operate in life and please others and operate the way they wanted me to operate, it would always backfire. It was always like so draining, so uncomfortable. So like, it was just too much for me. And like, I have a lot of air in my chart. So like I already am thinking a lot. Like you see how I present even in my YouTube videos. I want to bring in so many different perspectives that we can't even help but have an expanded perspective. We can't help but see it from the other person's shoes and from every little angle. Why? Because we want to make the most discerning decision, right? And that's like just the way I operate as a unique individual, right? It doesn't mean that everyone operates in the same way, but it was like I had to come and figure out who I was on a unique, authentic level so I could set appropriate boundaries from a confident space of like, no, this is who I am, and you clearly don't respect that. But I respect that you are on where you're at on your journey, but that doesn't mean you get to impose on me. I'm going to set healthy boundaries for me. But at the time, before I could really understand what was going on, I would be hard on myself. I would think there's something wrong with me, right? And then a lot of like my worthiness issues were kind of that, like, why can't I connect and make friends? And like, you know, like I have one childhood best friend and like we disconnected for a long time and then reconnected and now we're really close. But like, aside from that, like there was no like friends, like, you know, I never really felt like someone had my back, but I know that I could have that fulfillment inside. Right. And I think like, as I was peeling back the layers, there was a lot of neglect in my childhood where I spent a lot of time alone because I literally was alone, like, you know, early on in times where like kids really need that guidance, right? They need to feel safe and protected. Well, I learned to be safe through my own energy at a really young age, but I never really was. And that's just the thing. Like, I don't think I've ever really felt safe until recently because I created that for myself and my kids, right? But even as like a woman or a mother, single, living alone in her house, right? There's always going to be that sense of not feeling totally safe. I'm going to be in survival on some level. And so I normalize survival, right? But like, it's a paradoxical, like this whole freaking spiritual journey because of that, it amplified me coming into myself more quickly. And that's if I don't drown in my darkness, right? That's if I come into this ascension journey like I did and I like learned about myself and it expanded and peeled back the layers and became very vulnerable, very open to admit where I needed to grow, very open to admit where I needed to let go. And so, yeah, it was just like this feeling of, I need to really, really know who I am so I can show up in this world in any given moment and make a decision from the space of who I really am. And at some point, I recognize that is like connecting to spirit, flowing, not trying to control so much. I was very much a control freak in my younger years because I moved out when I was 17 and was on my own. Like, and I had a job. I usually had a couple jobs because I would have to have 2 part-time jobs to work around my school schedule, right? Because I went through undergrad and grad school. I did all of it by myself, everything. There was nothing where it was like I was getting help. It was just me. So like, this creates something in you, but I see this in so many empaths, so many people who follow me that resonate with my content, like men and women. We are so sensitive that we have to protect ourselves. And when we don't, and we allow others to control kind of how we operate in life, like, oh, I know I got to answer this phone right now because this person's calling. And if I don't, there will be emotional repercussions, energy projected at me, right? Like maybe, like here's an example, like when you get married or even if your parents are divorced and the holidays roll around and everybody wants to have their stuff at the same time. And then you have to choose and you get put in the middle and like... There's this weird manipulation going on where someone's mad at someone, like it's really low vibe, right? Because we all should be understanding, and who cares if we celebrate it a day later, like whatever, like that's the energy I come with. But like there was a point in my life where those were type of things that I would have to deal with. And we all do, right? Like we all can feel when other people really want us to behave in a certain way or show up for them in a certain way. And if we don't, we get emotionally, that emotional energy, that backlash that's coming off of them. And it's like, they can't help it. That's their trigger. That's their thing they have to work on. Right. And like, so what Spirit's really saying is like, as you see, you're coming into your most authentic version, and boundaries and energetic protection, that is so critical. And don't let others manipulate or make you think that you're somehow like there's something wrong with you or you have to do it a certain way or you're not respecting them. It's like a lot of people don't even understand what respect really is. Respect is allowing someone to move the way they want to move in their life. And if you unconditionally love them, you support them through that no matter what that decision is. And you say, and maybe once in a while you'll be like, hey, I don't know if the healthiest decision, but it's not for them to make. Like, we have to allow others to be on their journey and make their own decisions and decide how we show up and set healthy boundaries for ourselves in the same breath, right? And so that's what Spirit's asking right now. Like, guys, get out of your heads. Don't overthink every situation. Come straight to your heart and be like, Spirit, is this best for me right now? What is the best decision for me right now? And sit with it for a minute. Don't let people rush you. I need to know right now. Someone's texting you. No, you're going to have to give me a few minutes to think about it. Force people to respect you just by showing up in a calm, grounded way in your authentic self, saying, this is who I am. If you don't like it, like, you don't have to talk to me. You don't have to see me, right? Like, or what, and it doesn't even have to be like family or friends or a relationship. It can be whatever, a work establishment you belong to. A lot of people belong to different types of groups, athletic groups, like even a book club or like a crafting group. Like, no matter where you have groups, there's always going to be some drama, especially with women. Like, women are just so naturally gossipy, which is like the most toxic thing. And it's healthy to talk about stuff, but it's like coming from this place of like recognizing where people are in their journey, allowing them to be there without having this harsh judgment, and just showing up towards them with respect and love, but also having those healthy boundaries for yourself so you can move in this world in a way where you don't get taken advantage of, or you don't get controlled because you don't know who you are and people are trying to tell you who you are and you start believing them. You know what I mean? Like, just really being grounded in yourself. And that's what we have to focus on right now, because we are stepping into the new timeline and it feels a little weird. And there's a lot of like little lingering things that are trying to keep pulling us back to where we were. And sometimes we're like, oh, that kind of feels more comfortable because I always made that decision. So I know what the result's going to be. So that kind of makes me feel safe. But getting really comfortable with the unknown and really solid in who you are is what's going to help you have a smoother ride moving forward as we co-create this new timeline, which is going to be huge. Like, you can feel it. You can feel almost this pressure of healing, like this pressure to heal, but not in a I guess it could be in an abrasive way if you're refusing to let go of things in order to create space for new things. New things can't come in if you don't have that space, right, guys? We talk about it all the time. But Spirit's saying, if you're grounded in who you are, you don't have to worry about none of that because you're connected. The answers will come as you need to know. So you just go to bed at night thinking, I don't have to worry about it. Spirit will let me know in the morning. Or maybe in a dream. Who knows, guys? So yeah, just get really grounded in who you are and set healthy boundaries. That's today's message. Okay? I love you. Don't be taken advantage of. Know who you are to a degree where nothing can come knock you off your rocker because you're solid. You're solid and your energy demands respect. Just being you is like, okay, no one's going to come and disrespect you because they can, like, your energy is the boundary. Whew. So yeah, guys, I love you so much. Please follow my new channels below that I just started. Get those rolling, like, comment, and subscribe to get the algorithm got going on this channel. And I appreciate you so much. I really do. I appreciate your donations. I appreciate, just the comments and the interaction to keep me feeling like, yes, like I am here for a reason. I am like connecting and resonating with this collective and we're all in this together. That is so emotionally rewarding, validating. It makes me want to come back every single day and connect with you guys because that's what I'm here for. It's not because I'm making some big bucks, guys. We all know that. Like, I'm here because I'm in service and this is where I'm called and this is what fills my cup. And I love that filling others' cups is what fills my cup. And it's just like overflowing cups all over the place. And that's how this world's supposed to be. I'm in my authentic version. You're in your authentic version. And it will start flowing out to others and like, you will be taken care of. Like, it doesn't have to look the way you think it needs to look. All it has to be is this trustful into spirit and knowing that everything's always working out for you and you don't have to sweat it because the answers will be revealed and you're not going to go without. You're always taken care of. All right, guys. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next one.